Thunder Over Louisville. It is exactly like thunder right over your head, and the crowd was cheering. And once again, Gary Rodemeyer, that false finale got a lot of people after that false finale. A lot of people started moving out. We were saying, it's not over, it's not over.
And well, I want to tell you, under very difficult and inclement weather conditions tonight, another successful Thunder Over Louisville. But of course, the thing you're wondering right now is, did Barry Brunson survive?
The 2nd Street Bridge and all that firepower.
Barry, are you there? Barry?
Mom? Mom? It was amazing. It was concussive. It was spectacular. You couldn't see, you couldn't hear, you couldn't do anything. It was being under thunder.
Oh, Barry, you look like you survived. Just barely, though, I think, on that bridge.
Call Sam and Ethel in New Jersey and tell them their boy is alive. Let's go to Terry Miners. Terry, everything went well in the command center.
It was flawless from the command center up here tonight, except now we hear Congress is going to pass some kind of law to try to stop this smoke from working its way around. That's all I've been talking about of late. Wayne Hettinger and Pam, congratulations again on another fantastic show.
Thank you. I think we learned a valuable lesson. The wet weather creates smoke to stay down.
Well, we'll hang with it. We learn every year, and we'll have a bigger show next year.
You betcha.
Congratulations on a great show.
Thank you.
And Wayne just told me a secret. He's going to rerun the fireworks in a couple of minutes because all the people in Indiana turned their backs on the UK flag and didn't watch the show. Rerun. Back to you downstairs.
Thank you very much, Terry Miners and Wayne Hettinger. He did it again for Thunder Over Louisville. I tell you, the weather conditions did make one major difference. The smoke did not dissipate this year, and we are being swamped by a lot of smoke from the fireworks.
Plus, this is the first time in the history of Thunder Over Louisville that we've ever had to move our live location out of the rain and into a tent that they constructed alongside. So we're under cover now, and feeling a little bit better about that. But you're right, the wind is blowing out of the northeast, and that's blowing the smoke from the fireworks in our direction. So if we look a little smoky, well,
it's because we are.
Well, we'll send the cleaning bill to the station. What do you think?
You can see the people there with their umbrellas. They are moving out, and you can see the rain
here, and I think people are going to be going home rather quickly, and maybe the traffic, because of the crowd being a bit smaller, is not going to be as bad this year. But we'll be covering that throughout the next hour and into our 11 o'clock newscast tonight up until 11:35.
The crowd is moving out. They have their umbrellas, and I really think this is the hardest downpour we have had yet, so they're scurrying to get away while the searchlights are still on the Ohio River. Let's go now to Julie Koenig. She's been across the Ohio River at Buckhead's, and she's been talking to the crowd there and watching them as they've been watching the fireworks.
Well, tell Terry Miners he's misinformed. There are a lot of UK fans over here. They were screaming just as loud. Quickly, what'd you guys think of the fireworks show? Give us a...
Awesome. Totally awesome.
It gets better every year. The bridge was an extra bonus.
We will be back.
Okay. They will be back. We had a great view, a great time at Buckhead, and happy Derby, everyone. Have a great Derby season.
Thank you, Julie. It was totally awesome, and we will be back every year for Thunder Over Louisville. It keeps them coming back because it is such a spectacular show, and even with all the weather conditions, the inclement weather we had, it was still amazing to be here, and I watched a lot of it on our monitors as we were shooting the pictures of the fireworks. It was awesome, even on television.
I'll tell you what was interesting from a few viewpoints tonight, from a few points that we could watch from over here. There was a lot of smoke in the way, and really, I honestly saw it in the television monitor, and I believe you could see it better on the television monitor here tonight than you could from some vantage points on the river because of the smoke and the cloud cover. Well, let's go to Bob Sikoler, who was up close and personal with the fireworks at Joe's Crab Shack. Bob?
Bob has some eager children there wanting to talk about the fireworks, but his audio isn't working right now. A few bugs because of the rain. A lot of people are moving out of the way. Joe's Crab Shack was an incredibly popular place, even though I think it was about $300 a seat to get in there. And over at Buckhead's, they were charging about $150. A lot of people wanted to be undercover this year because they knew this rain was coming in, but they knew the show would be spectacular anyway. There was no rain date for Thunder. It had to go off tonight.
What did you think of the lights on the bridge? I thought it was a really nice addition to to
Wonderful
the,
addition.
Yeah, and you know, when they do something like that and it turns out to be successful, there's always that pressure to bring it back and top it next year.
Well, and I'm sure that these lights, and we were talking to Ben Harper of the Kroger Corporation earlier this week, he said the lights were going to be so spectacular that he's sure they would make it a mainstay. Let's go up to the command center where they're toasting a wonderful effort tonight.
Thank you very much. Congratulations, everybody, on a wonderful show again. And now out comes the bubbly.
That and more.
You're supposed to have a French accent when you're sucking down that champagne. Pam, when's the trip? I know you always take a vacation right out of this deal.
We're going after the festival's over, and we're going to Disney World.
All right. Well, congratulations on a great show, and back to you downstairs. I want a drink.
There's even having a little champagne on his own. Is he drinking on the job? I don't know.
I think the job's almost over. We're about ready to wrap it up. We're going to give it back to Doug and Jean in just a few minutes, and we are going to be taking you home from Thunder. You know, the traffic always gets to be snarled after everyone's racing home. You can see the traffic there already on Interstate 64 along the river and into Spaghetti Junction. So the Kentuckiana's News Channel, all our crews are still out there working, going to show you the ride home from Thunder. We hope you've had a wonderful day through the air show, through the fireworks. We hope you have a wonderful Derby Festival and a wonderful Kentucky Derby, everyone.
Thanks for watching, everyone, for Kentuckiana's News Channel and our special coverage of Thunder over Louisville. Good night for just a while.
Thunder Over Louisville and the opening ceremonies of the Kentucky Derby Festival has been sponsored by the Kroger Company. You can always count on us. By UPS, moving at the speed of business. By Coca-Cola, always refreshing, always Coca-Cola. By Tyson Holly Farms, Weird Chicken. And by Kraft Oscar Mayer. Kraft, bringing you good food and good food ideas. The official coverage of Thunder Over Louisville has been an exclusive production of WHAS 11.
Once more, you open the door, and you're here in my heart, and my heart will go on and on.
Kentuckiana's news channel, WHAS 11. This is Thunder Over Louisville.
Back here live with the after effects of Thunder Over Louisville 1998. You're looking at the traffic in southern Indiana, the headlights of the folks heading home, heading away from this wonderful show.
It is the ride home tonight, and you know, Gene, finally the smoke has cleared, and it struck me that this was probably one of the few Thunders Over Louisville that actually, if you were watching at home, television did justice to, because down here in the bowl of right around downtown Louisville, the smoke just wasn't able to clear fast enough because of our weather conditions, and a lot of people did not get to see the full effects of the fireworks because of that.
Indeed, but we did have some fascinating moments. Beautiful new colors, 2 firefalls from the bridge. Man, what a show.
I mean, it is a celebration, and it does kick off one of the greatest 2 weeks in our community, so hey, why not? Even though it was raining, it was fireworks, and it's turned out to be a great time. Everybody applauded that finale. It was a standing ovation here.
Indeed. Good evening, everybody. I'm Gene West.
And I'm Doug Profit, and we are back here. We're your back home crowd. Gene
That's
and
right.
I
We're going to get you home safely, or the folks that you know who are out here home safely. Now, our eye in the sky for tonight, taking a look at the traffic, is our Reed Yaden, and Reed is flying over southern Indiana already. Reed, how did those folks get in their cars? Didn't they see the end of the show?
Right as the show was ending, we were looking at people literally running along the interstate where traffic was not moving. Couple of things. First of all, the folks here in southern Indiana had the superior view from the ground this evening. The winds were blowing from the northeast. The smoke traveled to the south and southwest. Clear view over here. It was beautiful. Now then, traffic is starting to move actually fairly well. The northbound traffic on the Kennedy Bridge, as you can see just below me here, is moving pretty decent on up toward Highway 131. Southbound 65 is just barely moving. It's a creepy crawly situation from Highway 131 all the way down across the Kennedy Bridge. But the situation will start to improve rather rapidly. Now let's go down to George Sells. George, what's the story from your vantage point?
Story from the vantage point here is people trying to beat the traffic. I know it's 2 weeks from Derby, but the line seems appropriate and they're off. Take a look out here on Broadway, and you can see traffic is already stacking up somewhat. In fact, traffic was stacking up before the fireworks were even over. People trying to beat the rush, I suppose. But they are out here in force now. Some good news and some bad news for travelers, both due to the weather. And as I tell you this, we'll take a look from up top and get a good look at Broadway from about 60 feet above. The good news for travelers is the rain kept a lot of people home. So maybe, just maybe, there won't be quite as many cars to contend with out there. The bad news, though, comes from the same thing, the rain, the fact that it's going to be very slick outside. But as we come back down to street level, I can tell you that right now, slick is not an issue because very simply, folks can't move. And if you can't move, you're not going to slide. So for now, everybody be careful out there, and we will send it back to you.
Well, you know, Gene, that shot of Broadway they showed us could be Broadway in New York City at this hour, the way it's so crowded.
The way that it's packed. But I have to tell you that the folks did clear out pretty quickly from around here, mostly because of the weather, too, and the rain, and they are heading out now. Look at that stream of folks walking down, pedestrian traffic only, along, I think that is that 4th or 5th Street there.
I'll tell you what, that looks like near WHAS. I guess that's 4th Avenue downtown.
I got to tell you, folks, if you are...
Liberty and 2nd Street.
Liberty and 2nd Street. Look at that. That crowd as the traffic moves through there. Wonderful show. Build is being bigger and better. More lights, more firepower, bigger, better colors. Let's show you some of the highlights from the show here. I think it began with a tribute to the University of Kentucky Wildcats.
The flag came through, and there you go. The start of the Wayne Hettinger production that, of course, he is so proud of, and they build to be bigger with the tonnage of fireworks. They increase it every year. There is apparently no limit.
I have to tell you, the firefalls from the bridge this year were really quite lovely, almost ethereal. It kind of looked a bit heavenly.
The music soundtrack I thought was excellent. All kinds of generations of folks were just dancing away. Even the younger generations loved the older tunes.
Well, now I guess the folks in the command center ought to be popping the champagne corks now because, yes, again, guys, another job well done. Terry Miners is there, and Terry, are there handshakes all around?
Absolutely, Gene, and the champagne's already gone. I think the bottles are, yeah, these are just, I hope these are returnables. There's probably 50 cents right there. It didn't take long to snarf that down. It is so many hours during show day that everybody, I think, drinks champagne just because they're thirsty. There's no water available. These guys have a company called Audio Visions. This is Dave Kreitz, and this is Tim Creed. We went to school together. And
way back when.
Do the two of you wrestle over which songs we're picking out for the whole air show and the production?
I try not to wrestle, Dave. No, actually, it's a very democratic process.
Are your musical tastes similar at all, Dave?
Oh, I think that in a lot of ways, yeah.
Now, the idea is with the military jet flyovers, you go with intense rock music.
Well, rock or sometimes more of the intense orchestral stuff, only because it brings, that kind of a image to mind,
And then Tim's wife comes up a few times and says, play something from Titanic.
Exactly, no, my daughter.
Your daughter. Well, it was another phenomenal show, and you guys kept it paced nicely, and congratulations again.
It went really well. We're real happy. Thanks, Tim.
Looking forward to seeing you again next year, although Tim also lights up the board there, and he says it's 655 days till the next one, till the next Thunder Over Louisville. So back to you downstairs.
Okay, at least have a night off before you guys start planning for next year already.
And we're sitting out here now under a fully closed tent where we're out of the rain, but the weather, of course, was the big story today from the beginning. The rain stayed away and then it came in, and Mark Hebert takes a look right now at how the weather affected this Thunder over Louisville.
It's 4:25 in the afternoon. Most thunder watchers arrive looking for that other kind of thunder and rain.
We're preparing for the bad weather.
Weatherman says it's going to turn colder too.
I got my blankets, my chair, and put my coat and sweatshirts and everything else on.
Have you got any more layers to put on if you get colder?
No.
But the Daniels family and a few others appear unprepared and underdressed for rain or cold.
I'm in sandals and shorts. No, we're fine. They're not complaining.
Okay. Sally Stevens and her friends staked out this choice spot under the 2nd Street Bridge at 7 o'clock this morning. But the tent isn't needed yet. The ponchos and umbrellas are tucked away at Sally's place.
Oh, 500,000 people are praying that it's not going to rain. Now, how could God not listen to 500,000 people?
50 minutes later, at 5:15, hoods and umbrellas go up. The first rain has arrived. It's now about 7:30 at Sally's place. It's been more than 2 hours since the first rains hit. And guess what? There are a lot more people here at Sally's place, and there's not much rain.
I was sitting there.
The makeshift tents have been ready for hours, and they've been getting a little bit of use. But so far, the really bad weather has bypassed thunder. Have you gotten wet yet?
Yeah, just a little bit, but not bad.
Not bad?
I have a poncho.
So you're okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Maybe Sally's prayers and those of thousands of other thundergoers are going to be answered. Mark Hebert, Kentuckiana's News Channel, WHAS11.
Oh, I tell you, but then the rain didn't dampen the spirit at all, and the cheers after the fireworks.
As we've been sitting here, more fireworks shells have been going off.
Yeah, let's go over to who is Lawrence Smith is at Ashland Park. He's been watching the fireworks
He's the Hoosier
over there.
Connection tonight.
Did you have a good view over there, Lawrence?
Oh, it was a great view. It surely was. In fact, during the fireworks themselves, it was so spectacular, you almost forgot how much you were getting rained on. That's how distracting and how energizing it was. But now that it's over, people are streaming out of Ashland Park in droves. But I found a couple of people here who are hanging around. These are the Thomases. This is Dolores, right?
Dolores.
Well, what'd you think?
Oh, it was awesome again this year.
How many of these thunders have you been to?
This is about our 6th one, I think.
How's this one rated in the scale?
Fantastic.
What's your name, buddy?
Robert.
What was your favorite part?
The ending.
The ending? How come?
It was so loud and big.
It was very loud this year, wasn't it? And what about you? What is your name? Oh, you're acting shy on me.
Hey, my name's April.
April. What did you like? Did you like it at all? April said she didn't like it. I think it was a bit too loud for her, don't you think?
Sure was.
Now, you've been here since how long today?
We got here yesterday at 6 o'clock in the afternoon.
Where did you spend the night? Because you couldn't stay here in the park.
My husband and my oldest son spent the night across the street in somebody's yard.
That's dedication.
That is dedication.
Well, I hope you enjoyed the show. Hope it was worth it for you.
We loved it.
All right. Get in the dry now.
Okay.
Thanks a lot, the Thomas family. and they enjoyed Thunder. We all enjoyed Thunder here at Ashland Park. A great day despite the rain. Back to you guys.
All right, Lawrence, thank you. And as you can tell from Lawrence, yeah, the rain has picked up again, and all those thousands of people who are making it to their cars are caught in the rain. Let's go in the studio now to Andy Weingartner. And Andy Weingarten, tell us what's going on now. We've been under a pretty steady rain all day.
Yeah, the lighter rains came in late afternoon and have pretty well held on through the evening. I don't know if there's a silver lining to this. Maybe we can show it to you by looking at our next rad radar. The rains are actually getting heavier to the south and west of us right now. This is as heavy a rain as I've seen this close to Louisville all day long. It is advancing northeast fairly quickly now at about 30 to 40 miles an hour. I don't know, people may disagree with this, but maybe we were being looked upon favorably. Yeah, it was a little cold and damp down there, but imagine a couple of hours from now with the steadier, heavier rains coming in, how it would have actually felt. So over the next couple of hours, the rains are going to get heavier across the region, and I think they're going to last through most of the night and into tomorrow morning. We'll take a quick look now at a forecast. Now it's time to look ahead, now that most of the festivities have wound on down. Periods of rain for tonight as we drop into the mid-40s. We're not too far away from that right now. The rain will probably last through 10, 11 o'clock tomorrow morning, then should end a high of 55, and then Monday looks really nice as we get up into the 60s. So yeah, it was cold and it was wet, Gene and Doug, but the heavier rains are actually going to be here in the next hour to hour and a half. Back to you.
A thunder we will not forget anytime soon.
Indeed. But, you know, despite the weather, it did not appear to affect the air show much at all. A lot of the planes and maneuvers kept to their kept to their routines. And we want to show you some of the highlights of the air show when we come back. And
as we look at the traffic, look at that. There's the tail lights. People, but moving.
On the way home.
That's the best. Here's the Harrier. That was one of the big stars this year. Hovering like a helicopter right there by the downtown skyscrapers.
We'll be back with our live coverage of Thunder 98 in just a moment.
You're watching official coverage of the Derby Festival opening ceremonies on your official Thunder Over Louisville station, WHAS 11.
Mic check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Hello, Ted.
All right, there you see some of the scenes from this thunder that we just ended. Look at that fire fall from the 2nd Street Bridge. That was the first one. It almost had an ethereal kind of a heavenly, cloudy look there.
It truly is a
and
waterfall of fire.
Beautiful, absolutely beautiful this year.
And can you imagine that there is a human being named Barry Burnson who stands on that bridge every year?
You think he's still there? Last year we had kind of a problem communicating with him after after last year's show, and he's holding his ear now. We wonder if he has his hearing. Barry, can you hear?
Hello, Barry.
Oh, yeah. No, it wasn't too bad. You know, once you've been up here for, 7 or 8 times, you kind of get used to it. Right now, we are watching the Fort Knox crews, the howitzer crews, loading their big 75mm antique guns back onto trucks and taking them back to Fort Knox, and this is always kind of interesting. This is the only action on the George Rogers Clark or 2nd Street Bridge right now. How you doing, guys? We appreciate all the noise. Thanks a lot. Well, did you have fun tonight?
Yes, sir. We had a lot of fun.
Yeah? You like the noise, right?
Yes, sir.
You're kind of wet, I have to tell you.
Well, we got a little wet, but hope we can come back and do the same thing next year.
Well, you can come back tomorrow as far as I'm concerned.
Sounds good to me.
Okay. These guys, very, they wear earplugs, So, they take these big guns back to Fort Knox, and, of course, they're just used ceremonially now, but at one time, of course, the American military used these in combat, and a 75mm shell, which would come out of the muzzle of one of these howitzers, could do some serious damage. Got a kind of a crane operation here that loads them back up on these trucks, and will take them back down 31W to Fort Knox. Can I tell you that it's cold and wet on the George Rogers Clark Memorial Bridge? And really, Gene and Doug, when the thunder was at its peak, we were so wreathed in smoke up here that we could not see anywhere around us. So we're going to try to dry off back in Camp WHAS, and You can come back to us later if we're not frozen to death.
All right, and Barry, we have a tape of the show, and you can watch it once you get back home.
Barry blew his smoke this way anyway, so we were chewing your smoke, Barry.
Again, folks are trying to get out of here. It's raining harder than it has most of the afternoon, and folks are trying to get to their cars. Let's go back up to Sky 11 to see get a look at how traffic is moving along the Indiana side.
I-64, huh, Reed?
Reed Yaten is up in Sky 11 with us. Reed?
Hey, I'll tell you what, basically what we're talking about is gridlock. There's the view looking north. The interior streets in southern Indiana are just barely moving. When you get on the interstates, it's 10 to 15 to 20 miles an hour. 65 heading north is solid all the way up till, as far as the eye can see, beyond Highway 131. 65 heading south starts backing up at St. Catherine. It's solid all the way down to the Watterson Expressway. Just be patient, and that's all I can tell you. Doug and Gene, that's it on a wet, rainy, cool night as people head home after seeing a great fireworks show.
Reed, can you see those?
Well, I think one of the things that you really need when you come here is not only an umbrella and a coat, but a full tank of gas. Because you can count on sitting
or good walking
shoes for quite a while. There are the headlights heading home. And we will continue with our live coverage of Thunder, the after effects of Thunder 98 in just a moment. Stay with us.
I-64 splattered around with the spotlights tonight.